through the lobby looking for my game. I also have it set to only one table in multi-table games because at this time I don't really want to play any satellites. And I have turbos unchecked and knockouts unchecked because, in my opinion, when you're trying to build up a bankroll, which is ultimately my goal during this time, I think it's best to play non-turbo games because at the end of turbo games, some people call them crapshoots. I tend to agree with that. When blinds are up at 250, 500, the chip leader has 4,000 chips. That's 8 big blinds, which is really not much to be working with. And a lot of it just ends up being either who gets lucky or who ends up with the best hand pre-flop and is able to shove with it. Here I have pocket sevens, and I'm gonna raise it up. I fully expect to get called by Sandman, judging by his playstyle thus far. I don't, which is fortunate, but I was just basing that on watching him a few hands ago. We saw him limp in from under the gun. This was the hand. He limped in with 8-10 under the gun and ended up losing a decently sized pot to King Jeebus with aces. So we've seen him limp and make calls before. This time he didn't, which I don't mind. I'm sitting pretty good in chips, and so to take down the sevens pre-flop is perfectly okay with me. Here we've got Queen King, and a lot of people think Queen King is an excellent hand. I have seen it do pretty amazing things on this website, but or in online poker in general. But generally, if I'm out of position at a full table, I don't like to play it as a stronger hand than it is. I'm not going to be calling any re-raises with it pre-flop. Here, I'm going to make a continuation bet. This board, I don't think it's a board that would have hit him. And that's interesting. So, this really changes things up. What he could have is a pocket pair, such as 10s or 8s, which would give him a he'd feel pretty confident on the flop there. The King of Hearts gave us top pair with the second nut flush redraw. So sorry about the phone there. So the turn was very good for us. It really strengthened our hand a lot, and it enabled us to continue playing the hand aggressively without bluffing. Here I'm gonna check this down. A lot of people like to bet out their flush draws. Mine is 3 high. I actually had the nut low this hand, and if I've got a hand that's just very, very weak, you won't see me making a lot of bluffs like that. Honestly, I don't make that many bluffs, especially when playing fairly tag poker at these low stakes. I try to play my stronger hands and avoid getting involved in pots with, weak hands just from trying to steal from the button. Especially in non-turbo games, the blinds are primarily going to be pretty small throughout the game, and also when I've got a stack like this of almost 3,700 with 4 people left, I really don't need to be stealing. And here we go. I had ace-6 offsuit on the button, and the reason I didn't do anything with that hand though is because I noticed that King Jeebus is a short stack, and he's 2 seats to my left, and he's in the big blind. So if I make a raise to him that seems weak, he could easily have moved all in over the top, and I would have been faced with a tough choice. I could have either called, because it probably would have been good pot odds to do so, but most likely I would be behind, or I could have ended up folding and just lost some chips. So it turned out folding was the right move there because King Jeebus did get pretty aggressive. We flopped a gut shot here. I'm gonna check because With King Jeebus limping in from the button, both a queen and a jack are well within his range, and I'm gonna let my gut shot go. There's only, if a king came down, I still wouldn't feel that confident with my hand. Just top pair on a king queen jack 8 board, that would be it's not the strongest of hands. So, and a 9, I certainly would have done much with my hand. So a 10 was basically my gin card there, and it's unlikely that I would have hit it, and for that reason I decided not to stay in the hand, especially with 2 other players in the hand. Folding jack 3 here in the small blind. And we can, as we've seen, it's been almost 50 hands, or it's been 40 hands here. And if we just look at Gama Llama, he has really not played that many hands in comparison to everyone else. He's played, I don't know, just not a lot of hands, especially in comparison to Sandman and probably King Jeebus as well. So he's sticking to the tight profile, and that should tell us a thing or two about how to play up against him. I think we should be able to take his blinds without too much trouble, but also we should be very careful in getting involved in a pot with him. Alright, I'm gonna raise this up because King 10 is a hand I feel I have the better hand right now, and if I let him see a flop just for no money at all, then it's likely that the hand King 10 wouldn't hit, and I'd end up giving it up. Also, Sandman he's second in chips, and because of that, it's unlikely that he'd want to challenge me, come up against me in terms of a heads-up pot, just because I'm the only player at the table who I can actually take him out, but no one else would even get more than half of his chips, so he can be more aggressive with them than he can with me. And so I want to use that to my advantage as much as possible. I don't want to steal his blind every time, but in situations where he has shown weakness and I'm decently strong, I do wanna capitalize on that. Gama Llama's still playing tight here, and King Jeebus is a big short stack. 7-9, definitely not a hand to be playing with against Gama Llama. Ace-6, I'm going to raise in attempts to get this pot heads up, or alright,